Are you ready?
Yo, what is going on, guys? Tank is here. We're coming in for some Dokkan. This is going to be a 3-part series, something I want to mess around with. This is a longer segment, which is why I'm making it into 3 videos. I should be able to do 3 videos comfortably. This is going to be a tier list, right? So I wanted to rate these units because I saw the same video that everyone else saw and freaked out about from 59 about Gohan. He was on the bottom of Sora's list. So I was like, the first thing, you know, I thought was the same. I was like, get the hell out of here. Of course, like Gohan's #1, right? Like, I was always first to advocate that I think Gohan is the best TUR in the game, right? No question. So when I started to look at this list that I made, I said, okay, well, I want to do this from a non-objective point of view, right? Because I already had that built into my brain that he is the best unit. So then I came up with this, these listings of a way to maybe make it a little bit more fair. So everything will fall under 1, 2, 3, or 4 except categories. Categories didn't fit these, wordings. So I created a separate type for just categories. So if something has a 1, there are clear issues that require an adjustment to the gameplay. And if you don't make those adjustments, then there is going to be a void in that character. Either something is useless, something is not activating, you are completely missing out on something. So for instance, if I was to cover Super Saiyan Gohan's active skill, the LR, I would give that a 1, right? Because there is a clear void there if you do not do exactly what that active skill says, and it requires a lot of you to do it. So that would be like a 1. A 2 is something where there might be an issue that requires an adjustment to gameplay. If you don't do it, you're not like missing. Like, you wouldn't be like screwed basically. Like Beerus, maybe like having to have Beerus in the first slot, right? He needs to be hit to do the like maximum damage that he's going to be able to output. So if you don't put him in the first slot, yeah, he will suffer. His attack stat won't be nearly as high, but it's not like, wow, like it's like the worst. He still gets like, I think, a little over 2 mil, even if you don't get that active skill, not active skill, if you don't get that initial hit first. A 3 may have an issue, but it's little impact or none. So for instance, like Gohan here, Tech Gohan, so getting to the 5th turn, right, that might be an issue in some events, but if you don't get that active skill and don't transform, it's fine, right? Like, you are perfectly fine going an entire event and never transforming Gohan. He only gets better, but it's not like you are missing out on anything if you don't get the active skill. 4 would be no issues, works perfectly fine. Great, cool. That's pretty much what 4 is. And then when it comes to categories, right, just for the category, a 1 is going to be, it's hard to find a leader, and if you did even have the team, it will be difficult to use that unit on all of the teams that they're allowed on. So like Kefla is one of those examples that will come up. Kefla is on a ton of teams, but because of her links, she doesn't really work on many teams, like, at all. 2, hard to fit, hard to find a leader, somewhat difficult to fit on the team. So it's not going to be like, cool, put them on there, don't even think about it, right? It's like high school Gohan, right? I don't have to think about putting him on a team. If he shows up on the roster that I can use him, he goes on there, because it doesn't even matter what anyone else is doing. He's just a great support unit. 3, easy to find a leader, but it might be a little difficult to find the team. So that would be, there's a small difference between 2 and 3 is really just how difficult it was to find the leader skill. 4 is easy to find a leader, fits on all the teams. That would be like high school Gohan, he would be a 4. And then if there was a tie, this is where I would make the difference. If there was a tie between units, defense would be first. So if a unit had better defense, they would take the cake. Then if they tied, then it just goes down the list. So defense, leader skill, utility, an active skill, attack, and then links. That's the order. I don't think anyone gets really this far. I think I had this because before I had some ties, but then I changed it up a little bit to add no issues as 1. At first I did 1, 2, and 3. When I added no issues, it kind of evened it out more. So we have Gohan here. So his leader skill, I'm not going to really be reading over passives, reading over super attacks, reading over active skills. I'm really just trying to stay close to the categories that get here, leader skill, active skill, all this, because I want to condense on these videos and not read over every single leader skill. Okay, so Gohan is, I gave him a 2. So I gave him a 2 because his, he does have some issues with saviors. So if you're running hybrids, which would be fine, he's probably the best. Yeah, he's definitely the best leader for hybrids, that's fine. But then if you were to incorporate saviors, it really wouldn't work out that well. Saviors doesn't work that well. So it's kind of like a useless thing here. You'd have to like kind of go out of your way to make these two blend together, and it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit right. So he got a 2 for his leader skill because it's just not that good. Also, to find a friend, to find another one of him, it really, yeah, you can find one. I have found them, but they're like they're not like everywhere, right? They're not popping up. So that means if you don't find him, you have to run then a hybrids leader, and if you're running a hybrids leader, you can't include saviors. So now saviors actually can't even be used at all. That's why I gave him a 2. His active skill, I gave him a 3 because it's not exactly the easiest to get to turn 5 sometimes. But if you if you can't get there and you don't transform, you're fine, right? Like, he still did everything he was supposed to do because he is just the defense wall that you need him to be. Categories, I gave him a 4. He's on a ton of categories. He's on a ton of categories, and every single category here, you can throw him on that team right away. Like, he is a shoe-in. Like, you would definitely use him. Links, he gets a 1. He has probably the worst link sets in the game. This is his only key link is Saiyan Lineage, right? No, and Revival, but you're not getting both of them. That's a very strange combination of links that we have here. So definitely gets a 1 on the links. His attack stat, I gave him a 2. Of course, he can build up to really good attack stat. That does take a lot of time. And it can be a little inconsistent with this 40%. So if this 40% doesn't go off, he actually will have a pretty low attack stat even after stacking. Defense, he gets a 4 because obviously he's guarding, so that's like just instantly, he's insane defensively. Utility, he gets a 0. So utility is more like, how does he help out the team around him? So this kind of takes away from the unit, and this is where things change here. Like when you see Cooler's at a 4, he's at a 0. Cooler does a lot more for the team, obviously, than Gohan does. So Gohan gets a 0 because he literally does nothing for the team. So he ends up at a 16. And then I took into account if we remove the utility bonus, where would he be? And he would be still at 16, obviously. So then we move on to Cooler. So Cooler gets a 4 for leader skill. This is, a timeless leader skill. Terrifying Conquerors and Transformation Boost. Any enemy mostly is going to have this, and any unit, enemy, or superclass is going to most likely transform. The hype ones, the really good ones, are going to transform, and then he counts here too. So endless right here. He gives support, lowers attack. He can, so yeah, his leader skill definitely gets a 4 because of how good this is. His active skill is very easy to get, right? Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, which is like 90% of the game, from the 3rd turn. And then he gets guaranteed crits, and he just like triple supers, and yeah, so his active skill definitely gets a 4. Categories, again, like, just literally every category is perfect for him. He fits on them, he does well on them, he becomes very important on them. Same goes for links. All these categories, the only time you could maybe say no would be like a Final Trump or a Transformation Boost. If you end up having too many superclass, then he doesn't do well link-wise, but it's very easy to not be in that situation with him. Attack, really good, before transformation, after transformation, you can get anywhere from 3 to like 4 mil with him from just super attacking. His defense is not perfect. You do have to be careful depending on the event you're in, for him getting hit. Maybe you have to lower someone's attack or pop an item, depending on like where you are in this event, how difficult it is. So that's like the only thing. So he gets a 2 there. Utility, because he's supporting so many units in this game unconditionally, he gets a 4 right there. So he ends up at a 26. If we take away this utility, he's at a 22. Then we move into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I don't technically have him yet, right? Because he has not come yet to Global, but I still can, I think I can confidently review him. Giant Ape Power, Shadow Dragon Saga as his leader skill is okay. It's mainly Shadow Dragon Saga, and you can just pepper in some Giant Ape Power units, but it's okay. Not a vast category, so it's not like you can change up the team a lot depending on like the type of event. You can really only run like 1 or 2, 3 types of teams here, so it doesn't really change much. So it's not that great. Of course, this could change over time, but as it is right now, it's okay. Active skill. So his active skill is pretty good. It doesn't seem to be that difficult to activate, in my opinion, but from videos that I've seen that you've probably seen, it is apparently difficult. So this says this gets a 3 just because apparently it is difficult to activate. It is not a big deal if you don't activate this. He still does enough in his passive to be extremely good. Links, he has pretty good link set on any team here that you would put him on. He has good link set. It would have been nice if they gave him Saiyan Roar, but it's not like the worst thing in the world that they didn't give it. Basically, he got Saiyan Roar with super effective against all types. That's almost like the same thing. And then his attack and defense, again, both 4s. He's in a 200% attack and defense. He's not taking damage from anyone unless it's a super attack, and then he gets a 50% chance to evade a super attack and counter, so you're fine. Like, he's great both. Utility wise, he would be a 0. He does get a 1 just for this because he can lower the rotation's enemy attack for 40% for a turn, so that can be useful. If it wasn't for this, it'd be a 0, and arguably I'd still almost think it's a 0 because this only is for 1 turn, so it's like not really crazy good, but it's okay, and it does actually help the team out a little bit, so he gets a 1 there. So he ends up at a 21. If we took away the utility, we're at 20. We're going to review one more character. The next one is Bojack, and then we're going to cut this, and then we will move hopefully into part 2 that I'll see you guys in. So Bojack, again, like Gogeta, I don't have him, but I feel pretty confident to review him. Space Traveling Warriors, Time Travelers, these integrate really, really, really well, these categories. So this is really good. So he gets a 4, like right off the bat. That's like an insane category. And then he is a Space Traveling Warriors support. A lot of the Time Travelers fit on Space Traveling Warriors, so he's also basically a support for Time Travelers as well. Like, most of the time, they mix. So he does support, in a way, both. So, yeah, he does really well. For his active skill, so yeah, for his active skill, I like his active skill a lot, because what they did was they made it so it's when you it's not an automatic transformation at turn 4. It's when you want it, because when he goes into his transformation, he basically just becomes like attack mode, where he just deals a ton of damage, and he loses the support passive, which is fine, right? It's not a big deal, but it's great because you get the choice. So his active skill gets a 4 because of just how crazy it is. Categories and links. So categories, he gets a 4 because he's on a lot of categories. Again, pretty integrated here, a lot of these teams, so there's a good chance you'll be able to allow him to also still be a support unit. Link-wise, some weird links like these Bojack related links like Heraclan, Galactic Warriors. Coward's not just for Bojack, but it doesn't fit a lot of other units. So he's missing some links here. He does at least have big bad bosses, but it's like, he's like okay with the links, so that's why he gets 2 here. And then this is attack and defense. He gets a 3 and a 2. His attack, yeah, I think his attack stats are around like 2 little close to 3 mil. I think it's a little bit less on average, so it's not bad, but especially for him being a support unit here, he does do much more damage when he transforms, obviously. But yeah, you have that choice, right? So it's okay, but it's not like insane game changing. And defense, again, like Cooler, it's okay. He does raise defense, which is gonna help out his defense a little bit, but if the wrong, it doesn't matter, like if you don't have an item pop, if the wrong super hits him, it'll still be devastating, right? So you still just have to be careful with his placement. So we're gonna end this part 1 here, covering these units. Next, when we leave off, we're gonna go in with Angel Frieza, Android 13, Kefla, and Future Gohan. Should be able to hit 4 per video. But yeah, we're gonna end it there. We'll talk about them next. Let me know what you guys think about the people we have just reviewed. If there's anything you want to add to possibly, I don't know, maybe change my mind. But yeah, we're gonna end this here. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.